branches. The spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hello.
Hello.
Damn, we're still late, aren't we?
We're getting there.
Well, anyhow, welcome our live audience and brilliant co-host Alex.
Welcome.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since
hey guys.
Thursday. I saw you Thursday. You didn't fall asleep either. What the heck?
I know. I'm working on it.
To test that hypogonagia, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know. I was
going to put coins in your hand. Put a bell under your coins.
see if I have that $1 million idea.
But you didn't. Oh well. So, and I didn't eat too much. I spent all my time visiting. I was like, we got done, and I'm like, I didn't hardly eat anything. It was a weird Thanksgiving.
What a weird Thanksgiving.
Too much time talking. Not enough time eating. And now the weather warmed up today, but it's been cold, and people out east have been just getting blasted. You know, they got 40 inches of snow around the Great Lakes.
That is a ton of snow.
42 in one place.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's tough to deal with. You know, I was thinking about what is the coldest temp ever recorded on Earth? Do you know what it is?
The coldest temp on Earth
ever recorded on Earth.
Negative 100 degrees.
It's 116.5 negative Fahrenheit.
Jesus.
And it was recorded at the Dome Argus. Do I know where that? I think it's somewhere up in Alaska, northern, the Arctic. That's cold.
That is super cold.
Yep, that'll definitely make your donuts hard.
Good thing we got you to warm up the crowd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, well, I had to bring up donuts some way.
Yeah.
It'd be hard.
Making
a donut at 116 below zero. Jeez, it'd be a hard donut. There was a really weird article yesterday, and it was about trapped water. Oh, that's a big world concern. Trapped water. Now think about this. What would that mean? Do you know? Trapped water. And why would it be a concern?
We're going to run out of it?
No. It's water that's trapped permanently and cannot get back into the atmosphere.
It's forever.
Forever.
Grounded.
Well, I don't know. Forever.
Long time.
Anyhow, it's in water bottles. So apparently there's tons of water bottles going to the landfill. 51 million gallons a year. Just trapped in water bottles. So this woman brought this up, and it made me think. But I thought, that really isn't that much water. And of course, eventually it will get, released. Yeah. But it was just interesting. I thought, oh, okay.
Is the idea because plastic stays around forever? And
it stays in plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Plus, it gets, think of all the bottles in the ocean and the ones that are washed up on land and trapped. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. But then I thought to myself, I wonder if you can make water. Have you ever thought about that?
Can you make water?
Could we make water? I mean, it's simple, right? It's H2O. It's 1 part hydrogen, 2 parts oxygen, and that's simple. So why couldn't we make water? Have you ever thought about that?
No, I've never.
No, most people know. Why would you? We don't think about that crap. But then I was thinking, well, how did the water get here? And of course, I remember the theories of it came in on, icy asteroids that crash, and I don't buy into that. I really don't.
You don't buy it.
I think some water would come in that way, but I don't think all of it. And then I thought, and just in my brain, before I looked anything up, before I Googled anything, I thought, well, maybe lightning and like hot heating, quickly heating hydrogen gas and oxygen together, those two gases when they're next to each other, which they are, would then combine and make water. I looked it up, and sure enough, that's kind of sort of what happens, because they've been experimenting on making water, and they just take hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, put them next to each other, and then they cause some catalyst by just heating them up really quick, which lightning would do. And of course, hydrogen is a great source of energy. If you can release it from like water, right?
Yeah.
They're doing that with, the cells.
So they want to make like
electricity.
drinking water?
I mean, they're doing it in reverse. So if you can do something in reverse, you should be able to do it the other direction.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I just thought it was interesting.
You make science pop.
Yeah. And then I read, and there was a new scientist that just discovered using certain minerals other than platinum, like they use for these hydrogen cells. They use a lot of rare metals. But this guy figured out a way to get more hydrogen out with nickel, which is really a common element, a common metal, and he uses nickel. So anyhow, apparently this new method is going to revolutionize hydrogen cars. I still don't think an EV car is the way to go. You got to plug it in. I still think it needs to fill the car up with water, and then that becomes your gasoline. That makes more sense.
That would be cleaner.
It's still combustion.
Yeah,
you're still got a combustion engine, but the beautiful thing after it combusts, what comes out is just oxygen.
Which is that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. So anyhow, with this new breakthrough, maybe somebody eventually is going to come out with a commercialized hydrogen car. I hope. So that's
very cool.
That was kind of in the Untold news. It was actually recent, 3 weeks ago, but it wasn't really talked about much.
Interesting.
And then we're talking about new technologies. I often wonder why they can't control all these jillions of animals and plants that are coming into the U.S. And now there was an article about these feral, crazy, huge, they're like damn near live forever feral Canadian super pigs that they're thinking are going to spread, not from the south up, but from the north down. And Minnesota, by the way, is a huge target for these huge super boars, super pigs. So where you're going to get out of your house, you're going to go to your car, and you're going to get rammed by a super pig and attacked with tusks. I mean, think about that. And they can't control these things. They've taken, part of these, they've got these things taking over parts of Europe where it's actually dangerous.
It's dangerous.
In certain towns and villages and cities in Europe. So it's like, what do you think with technology they can figure out a way to control these things?
You think so?
I'm all for wildlife, but I don't want to be attacked by a hog, taking the garbage out at night on Wednesdays, like tonight. I got to worry about monsters and UFOs and Mothmen and all this other crap. I don't want to worry about pigs.
Super pigs.
And we already got bears and cougars in my yard. Okay, we got those going on. I don't need super pigs. Oh, well.
Man, you got the scoop on the wild side.
Yeah. So it says here, an invasive species of Canadian wild hogs is threatening to spread into the U.S. Okay, it says these pigs are exceptionally hard to eradicate. They're a crossbreed between the American and Eurasian hogs, resulting in a super pig. It said residents in the northern U.S. may soon have to worry more about what was a ridiculed concept, warding off feral hogs. So there you go. So it says right here, it says Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota are the targets. So there you go. All right, enough of that crap. Oh, and by the way, if you need a beer to calm your nerves because of the super pig invasion, right? You got to play this video one I sent you. This is the new beer bottle opener that you need to open your beer that will calm your super pig fears. Go ahead.
Love it.
You can make this yourself.
Oh, that's so cool.
Everybody needs one. Oh, and then you get peanuts too. See? There you go. All right.
That's so cool.
I think that's what I'm going to do after the show. Oh, by the way, I had this weirdest thing. You know, my Ring doorbell goes off. I look out. I look at the thing, and it's all these men on my porch, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, what's going on? And I realized that it's obviously something really heavy that comes, right? And I didn't order anything heavy. So I figured it's a Christmas gift. And I remember I wanted a welding table. And I remember they're like 250 pounds. I'm whispering because I don't want anybody to hear me. That ordered this 200-pound welding table. But I had to get that thing off the porch alone.
Jeez.
It took 3 guys to get it up there. And I had to get it from the porch, and I did. I just walked it on the corners of itself. But I did have to kind of pull it up the stoop. And there's no handles on the box.
There's no handle.
No, it's kind of thin and tall, you know, the size of a table.
Yeah.
Solid steel table.
Solid.
I bought a welder. You're not going to believe all the crap I'm going to make.
Oh, God.
I mean, we have a welder at the office, right? But
Yeah.
But I'm going to have this in my garage.
Very cool.
That's not going to be good. Maybe the welder's dangerous. Anyhow, okay. Video A, I want you to play because something really weird was caught on camera. And I found it really weird. Video A. This is so bizarre. Watch this.
You want the sound for this?
Sure, it doesn't matter.
Will someone really get, hurt?
So this pack of dogs.
Now, thankfully, the dealership, they're moving next month. You can see their current property. It's surrounded by a fence.
Okay,
there is a small gap that runs underneath, which is how they think the dogs might be getting in, but they're not entirely sure.
So these dogs are breaking in. And on every night, they're doing like $300,000 in damage to cars. So what are dogs attacking inanimate objects for? You know? Does that make it? Shut the sound off. We don't need that. Go ahead and play that first little open.
From a Stephen King novel, dogs tearing apart vehicles.
Oh my gosh, look at that car.
I mean, they're ripping the whole front clips off these cars.
Thousands of dollars in damage.
They get one and they go to another one, and they get one and they go to another one. Isn't that weird?
Very weird. Very weird.
No, enough. All right. And you know how you go fishing for relaxation, right? Now of course, lakes are frozen. Ice fishing season starts soon, right? And I can go ice fishing right out my door, which is cool.
Very cool.
But some people fish for money. And there's a certain kind of fish that if you catch it, you can become quite rich. And you know what that fish is? Like you can become a millionaire fishing. And one day you could become a millionaire.
Is it tuna?
Yes, it's tuna. Yeah, these bluefin.
How big do they get?
Oh my God, they got 600-700 pounds. In fact, I think it was a 600-pound tuna that sold in Japan for God, how much was it? It was 600 pounds bluefin tuna, 2019. It weighed 600, and it sold for $3 million. One fish.
Oh my God!
And they got it on hook and line. $3 million, dude. I want to go tuna fishing.
Man, we shouldn't be in the studio right now.
But anyhow, see, there's a weird issue. But here's why I bring it up. There's a new thing out that was released, new information. I didn't know that these tuna fight so hard, they're cooking themselves with friction because their muscles are working so hard to fight against hook and line versus netting them. So when you net a fish, it's kind of, you can't really move.
Yeah.
But when you cook a tuna, I mean, you're definitely have a fight of your life, right?
Mhm.
And I would imagine there's regulations on the type of tackle that you can use. Go ahead and play. I think it's video 2. You can have put the sound
so
on.
hard it cooks itself. This is the bluefin tuna, and it's one of the hardest fishes in the world to catch because it exerts so much force while being hooked that it actually cooks itself from the inside. This is because the bluefin tuna is endothermic, meaning it generates its own body heat. One bluefin can weigh hundreds of pounds, and they are gigantic. In fact, the most expensive bluefin ever was sold for over $3 million in 2019 at a Tokyo fish market, and it was around 600 pounds. However, according to many people, the price and the difficulty of catching the fish are well worth it, as apparently it is delicious. Now, would you try this fish?
Think about that. But so just an average tuna, you can fetch, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000.
That's an incredible
fish.
amount of money.
But could you imagine the stress of going fishing? You got one on, right? Just picture it. You get one on, and it's really big, and you feel it. Just think of the stress if you lose it.
Oh,
that would be crazy.
Yeah,
So,
incredible stress.
Anyhow, I think it's fascinating to me that you could sell a fish for that much money.
Yeah, I mean, what do they do with? I mean, how do they make
sushi?
that up?
Ends up with sushi.
Oh, that's
and they grade
sushi.
them. If you guys ever want to look this up, it's so fascinating. Go to a sushi bluefin market where they buy these tuna and how they test them. They core them and they taste it and they judge these things. And but it's fascinating. They bid on them. It's an auction. It's so, all these restaurants are there bidding on them.
So are the bigger ones supposed to taste better?
I don't know. I have no idea. It has to do with fat content. They're looking for a certain fat content. So it's just fascinating. It is to me. I don't know if it's just to anybody else.
Well, I mean, I've never heard of a fish going
Susan
for
says all that money for bad.
$millions.
Susan goes, all that money for bad breath. By the way, I was going to mention John Ayers is our moderator tonight.
Yep, so be nice to him.
And John Ayers he's our moderator for the Untold Radio Network. He's amazing. So anyhow,
he's the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff's in town. Okay, more wildlife news. A critically endangered Sumatran rhino named Delilah welcomes her first calf. And it's now like this little calf at the Indonesian sanctuary. And I gave you a picture to look how cute. This thing's covered with fur. I've never seen a baby rhino, brand new.
Adorable.
That is cute, isn't it? Look at that eyeball. It's got white around its eye. What is that, the sclera? It's all white.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yep. I'm interested in this because a good friend of mine created the documentary, I think for Nat Geo, called The Last Rhino. Back when they were endangered, I think they were down to 50 animals. So
50.
Oh no, there's only 50 now. I think it was down to like 4 or 5 when he did that doc.
That is so low.
Yep. Anyhow, enough of that. There was a new wolf study, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. So scientists found that actions of people can have more of a profound impact on the environment and wolves. Here's why. They did this cool camera study, GPS study on wolves again, well-funded, and they found that wolves are utilizing our suburban neighborhoods. They're utilizing our roads, power line, things, power line cuts, railroad tracks, all these man-made roads.
Edges.
Yeah. And I've been saying this forever. Bigfoot's, I guarantee you, is the same thing. And please, researchers, take 1 year, focus on those areas. Put your camera trap next to a damn road. Because in the middle of the night at 4 in the morning when no one's out, that's when they're walking on these roads and using trails and power line cuts and railroad tracks. Those are the areas, instead of being out in the middle of the forest. Try it for a while, right? We haven't gotten any photos now, right?
But you could, right?
Well, yeah. I just think people should try it. But it's once again, it's where deer congregate. It's where the wildlife is at. And they're like, oh, they had no idea that wolves come so close to houses. Oh, they're not afraid of houses. They thought they were afraid of structures. And they're not.
They're not.
No, and they also were shocked at how many beaver they're taking, all the fish they're eating and killing. Fish.
They're eating all the fish?
Yeah, they're eating fish. They eat a lot more fawns than they thought. But they're eating a lot more beavers. So
I didn't know they ate beavers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And beavers make a huge impact on the environment because they're like man. They build a home and they dam the water off, and so they control, like we do. They control the water table.
Yeah, they're like little hairy people.
Yeah, they are. They're very much like people. They're an animal too. They not only build a home, but they utilize the heat from the ground to heat it.
Is there anything more human than a beaver than us?
Well, I don't know. Not maybe for a mammal. Other than, obviously a chimp. But I'm talking about an animal that actually uses technology to change its environment would be a beaver.
Couldn't you argue beavers use more technology than even chimps? I mean...
I don't know. But chimps don't generally change the environment.
Yeah, they don't.
Beavers drastically change the environment like humans do.
That's the difference.
They terraform their world. They also overgraze on the aspen trees. They cut all the aspen trees. Well, that allows the pines then to take over.
So they are like people. They ruin the environment.
Well, in some cases, but they found that the wolves are the ones that are really helping the environment by controlling the beavers.
Yeah, they got to put them in, their place.
Yeah, that's it. Anyhow, that's all. And that article was sent to me by John Badger. If you're listening, John, thank you.
As opposed to John Beaver.
Yeah, opposed to John Beaver. Well, see, it's in that same group.
It's the same group.
Yeah, John Badger. I tease him about his name too.
I love it.
Okay, now a little dry humor. I thought once in a while, because I'm always tempted to put him in Doug's clip, some of these funny things, and I just thought, maybe we'll pick a couple of funny dry jokes, and, digital ones that I see on the internet, and people can send me stuff they find if they're really fresh and original. I guess not funny. I'm looking for not funny jokes.
Not funny.
Yeah, witty, but not funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's. All right. Well, let's just play joke 4. These all obviously the sound is good. Stop it. Can you get the volume up higher?
Yeah, let's see what we can do. Oh, there we go. Here, let's redo this. That was bad.
I can tell you my grandma had 4 babies at once. 4 at once? Yeah, they called them quadruplets. Yeah. And the doctor come up there to deliver the babies, and he had my grandpappy holding the lantern, and he said, "Come the baby," and the baby come out, and then he held up the lantern. He said, "Hold up that lantern again. I think there's another." Sure enough, another baby come out. He said, "Hold that lantern up." I said, "I think there's another." Grandpappy held it up, and there comes another. The 4th baby started to come. He said, "Hold that lantern up." Grandpappy said, "No, I think it's the light that's attracting them."
That's pretty witty.
Meanie, Miney, and Fred.
Just watch.
What about Mo? Yeah, Grandmama said there wasn't going to be no Mo.
There it is.
All right, let's do the next one. Number 5. I labeled it 5.
This is it, right?
Yep. Make sure your volume's up.
Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the pee is silent. Somebody asked me, where did your sister go, honey? I said, Alaska. He said, never mind, I'll ask her myself. I said, okay. Oh, God. What do you call a lazy kangaroo? A pouch potato.
Okay, that's enough of that one. All right, the next one, number 6. Last one.
I got my son a new calculator.
Turn up.
And
Oh,
it's up.
Let's play it
I'm
over.
going to show him how it works.
Just so quiet.
I got my son a new calculator. And he asked me if I'm ever going to show him how it works. I told him he can count on it.
Oh, God.
That was bad. You can count on it. All right. Moving on.
Oh, you've outdone yourself.
Oh, yeah, really. Anyhow, if people don't want to see any of those stupid dad jokes, just let us know and we won't do anymore.
Yeah, we won't do them.
Or if they like them, we'll do more. We'll do, 1 or 2.
Maybe 3.
Or 3. All right, let's do a little trivia. And we're going to do clips, and we're going to get Jason. By the way, I'm going to tell them about our guest. Today we have Jason B. Miller on. This is kind of part 2, right?
Yes.
And Jason is an amazing field researcher who gets in the field probably more than a lot of people do. And he's got just a ton of experiences and things he will be relaying. We're going to be kind of focused on Sasquatch communication. All right. Anyhow, so let's do a little trivia.
All right.
All right. So when do kangaroos stop growing? We just had the pouch potato. Or pouch.
This is the trick question.
No. When do kangaroos stop growing?
I bet you they never stop growing.
They stop growing when they die. Yeah, no, they don't ever stop growing. They stop growing when they die.
That is so weird.
I know, it is weird. Okay, a snail can sleep for how many years? Snails,
8 months.
3 years they can sleep for.
3 years?
Yeah. 3 years. They just fall asleep. Keep that in mind.
That'd be a good
That's a
good
snooze.
sleep.
So there's a town in Indiana with a Christmas name. Have you heard of this? Do you know what it is? It's a town in Indiana.
Reindeer?
It's got a very no, it's actually called Santa Claus. The town of Santa Claus.
Of course. That'd be so weird to grow up in there.
You kind of wonder how that got named. So humans cannot walk in a straight line without a visual point, okay? They just can't. Okay. So if I blindfolded you and turned you loose, right?
Yeah.
What pattern would you walk in?
I imagine eventually I could be going in circles.
Yeah, humans walk in circles. That's all they do is go in a big circle. Over and over. You'd spin.
Yeah, that's how you get lost in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. So selfies now cause more deaths than what? Selfies are getting quite dangerous. People are getting hit by cars. falling over cliffs, and I see kids even staring at their phone when they're riding their bikes on the street. And I'm thinking, oh my God. But selfies cause more deaths than what? More dangerous than what?
You said more dangerous than car attacks.
Susan got it.
What is it?
Sharks.
Oh,
Shark
sharks.
attacks. Yeah. It's more deaths now by selfies than shark attacks.
Interesting.
All right. Someone who has melophagia has what?
They want to eat raw potatoes.
What did you break it? Did you scam into my computer? Did you?
No.
Oh, really? You knew that?
Yes.
Okay. In chat, does anybody believe Alex just knew that? Look at the look on your face, Alex.
I got random facts, man. I'm on Wikipedia.
Oh my God.
With
Okay.
the best of them.
That one's going to haunt you.
Mm.
Peaches are members of what other food family?
Strawberries.
Almonds. The same food group as almonds. What's the longest one syllable word? Anybody know this one? Just Steve goes, Alex is smart. Alex cheats. Jen
Every
goes, "He's
time
a
I get them
cheater."
right, I'm cheating. That's the
Yeah, well,
pattern.
that one especially. There's nobody knows that.
I know it.
How did you know it?
Oh, history class.
Yeah, right. God. Oh my
8th grade.
God. You did something. I don't know how you knew that. I don't even know how you'd have Googled it that quick. So what's the longest one syllable word?
Screeched.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Are you looking at my notes? No. Yeah, you are.
No,
You cheated a new way. You hacked into my computer.
Oh my God. Maybe
you
I'm
did.
just-
Did you hack? Okay. I'm going to ask you straight up. Did you hack into my computer?
No, I did not.
Well, how do you know those things?
I mean, I don't know. You have a brilliant son.
Okay. What famous What famous superhero is referenced in every single Seinfeld episode? Every single one.
Superman.
Yeah. And how did you know that? Suddenly you're on a winning streak.
If you knew me, Dad, Seinfeld is my favorite show.
Okay. Superman. Isn't that weird though? It's in every episode. It's mentioned. All right. So everybody knows what Viagra is, right? Even
Yes.
Alex knows that. It aids with erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
But if you drop it in a vase of flowers, what does it do? What happens? Does it kill the flowers? Does it just
Does it make them live longer?
It makes them stand up straight for a week longer than normal, believe it or not.
That sounds wrong. that sounds
That's
dirty.
a whole bowl of, that's what they say. It's a whole bowl of wrong. Yep. Okay, how many pounds does a blue whale heart weigh? 100 pounds, 250 pounds, or 400 pounds?
250.
It's all right.
It's 250?
No, it's 400.
Oh, geez. 400 pounds?
Yeah, for a blue whale heart. They're the biggest mammal on Earth.
Gosh, that is heavy.
That's big, man. What is the average lifespan of a couch? Before people throw it away. Who studies this crap? Who goes, oh, I'm going to do a study on the average lifespan of a couch? What is it?
15 years?
It's under 10. It's 2,958 days.
Okay, so it's close.
It wasn't bad. All right, I have a spinning chair here in my studio. Who invented it? Who was the inventor of the spinning office chair?
Edison.
Charles Darwin.
Oh,
The
fuck.
guy that worked on the theory of evolution. Weird, huh?
It's super weird.
What are the odds of getting a royal flush while playing poker?
It's like 1 in 300,000.
It's 1 in 649,740.
Can you imagine getting that on a... Oh,
Yeah, I've seen people get them.
I've never seen that.
I have. I've seen people get them on those machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, those poker machines. It's crazy. What was the name of Captain Crunch's ship?
Crunchy.
Crunchy. Wrong. Oh, by the way, Lori got the blue whale heart thing
The
right.
blue whale heart.
Yeah. It's the SS Guppy.
The SS Guppy.
Yep. How many sheets of paper can you get out of an average pine tree? Is it 1 million sheets, 300,000 sheets, or 80,000 sheets of paper?
I'd say the lower one.
Yep, 80,000.
80,000.
Because you cheated.
I like this multiple choice thing. It gives me a chance.
Yeah, no, you cheated.
I cheated?
I think so. There's something going
One
on.
out of three chance of getting it right. I'm a cheater.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that potato phobia. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that one. Okay. Was toilet paper invented in the U.S., Europe, or China? Who invented toilet paper?
What are my so U.S. What are the other?
Europe
What
or
am I-
China?
Europe or China?
Who invented toilet paper? Thank God somebody did.
Is it Europe?
Nope, China.
Oh, it's China. Crafty.
Yeah, they were the first with clean butts. How many times, speaking of paper, how many times can paper be recycled? Is it 3 times, 7 times, or 12 times?
8 times?
3 times, 7 times, or 12 times? Look up.
3 times, 7 times, or 7?
No, 12. Paper fibers can be recycled up to 12 times before they get too short to bond to each other. So eventually the paper just gets, the fibers go to hell.
I see.
And that's it for trivia. And we have the untold fact of the day. This is interesting. I like to do a mind-blowing fact. This one, okay, so if you took all the empty space out of the atoms that are in our bodies, all the human bodies, the empty space, you could fit all 8 billion people in one sugar cube.
That's such a weird thought.
Isn't that a weird fact?
That's so
There's so
crazy.
much empty space in us as people. And all atoms. Tons of empty space. It's like 99.9999 empty.
99.
Yep. Can you imagine 8 billion people? You could fit them in a sugar cube.
8 billion.
All of our atoms. Yep. Okay, enough of that. Then you can lay in bed and think about that a while, right? That'd be crowded too, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's super crowded.
All right, let's I need to go grab some water. If you want to just play our commercials quick.
Yeah.
I'll go grab water, and then we'll do some clips, and then we'll bring Jason on.
All right. We'll be right back, guys.
Hello once again to everybody out there in Untold Radio Land. This is Brendan Brown, host of the fastest 30 minutes in the cryptid world. This week in Bigfoot. Here's what we got coming up on this Sunday show. Is the Bigfoot narrative broken? It looks like it just might be. We'll take a shot at trying to right that ship. Mike Lucci investigates how mosquitoes just may help answer the Bigfoot question. Snowwalker Prime takes on Sylvanic Bigfoot in a must-see 2 minutes with. And the Bigfoot Rundown returns with more clips, reels, and shorts for you to digest. These stories and a whole lot more this Sunday at 6:15 on the next This Week in Bigfoot, only on CARC Universal. You better be there.
Hangar One Publishing. Books that explore the unknown.
They're after my story.
Legends leap off the pages of our books.
You think you're the only one? They're under my heels too.
From UFOs to cryptids, Bigfoot and beyond.
Who's behind all this?
Hangar One Publishing, where every legend is revealed.
It's Hangar One Publishing. They're unraveling all of our mysteries.
Dive in, real videos, sights and sounds with our immersive book technology.
I guess our secrets are out now. But in the best possible way.
From Bigfoot tracks to galactic trails, we cover it all.
We should get out of here before it's too late. You're right, let's plan.
Escaping reality. Dive into ours. Hangar One Publishing, revealing the universe's best-kept secrets, one book at a time.
Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our shows, knowledgeable hosts, and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Hey Untold Radio Network fans, want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
Hey,
we're back.
So before we get going, I want to thank Jennifer Arnold. I want to give a few shout outs. I want to say hi to Kevin Morrison, Sharon, Just Steve. We have Restall, Grasshopper, Charlotte J. Who else we got in here? It's quite a few. Lori, Uncle Bones, Dave Olds, I don't know who I'm missing. Siberia. I like that with a C. Siberia Visitor.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's a cool name. Pretty creative. Deborah. Who else? Tripping up on you. I like that. I love these names.
Yeah, they're great.
That's good. That's good. Love it. John, of course. By the way, can John put up comments as our moderator?
Unfortunately, no.
Can you give him that power?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, you can't? No. Unfortunately. I think that's about, we've got Helton, Flat Rockland. I don't do this often. Oh, we have Jeff from Jeff Hardy in Pine Island. Hi, Jeff. How are you? I think Jeff's going to be getting some shows up here soon on our network. And we've got Susan. God, just Steve. Yeah. I think
got everyone.
I can't hit everybody, but some. Oh, we got Nathan, Chris Ramsey, Eric Saab or Sabe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. All right, well, let's do our clips and we'll bring Jason in. This one, I don't know if the sound is good. It's not needed. But could you imagine having dinner? This happens a lot more often than you would think. And it can be quite disturbing, especially if it's a buck. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. That is insane.
It's just like this poor deer. I mean, it's scary for everybody. It's scary for the deer. This also happens with bears quite more often than you would think. The bears will break into restaurants. You know, with deer, I think they're jumping. I think they see the reflection and they get confused.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And everything ends well. There we go. Clip 2. I remember seeing blue crayfish when I was a kid. Right? I didn't see many of them, but we did see them in the creeks. Spent a lot of time wading in the creeks when I was a kid. But this is a blue lobster, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about these, but this lobster is just brilliant blue. Go ahead and play it.
Amazing how blue they are. That pretty color. Almost doesn't even look real.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's
My dad
painted.
left us a little present.
I think they're protected now.
Yeah, they gotta be super rare.
Yeah. That's it. That's enough. They're like 1 in a million. Okay, clip 3, we don't need sound. This poor cat belongs on The Wizard of Oz. It looks like the Cowardly Lion, I think. Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, with a mean streak.
That's that Maine Coon cat.
Oh, they're huge.
But look at this. Look at the face.
Oh yeah.
Very intelligent looking. But they have a face of that Wizard of Oz lion.
The Cowardly Lion, yeah.
Yeah, the Cowardly Lion. That's what it reminds me of. Clip 4, the sound isn't needed. I had to show this. I plan on buying one of these because I just think it's cool as heck. Not this one. Yeah, they have smaller ones, but the inflatable tents. Go ahead and play this thing. I mean,
Wow. How quick is that?
well, I'm sure that was a little time lapse,
Yeah.
but you have a plug a pump into your car.
What do you think? Like an hour? 2 hours?
I don't know. I don't own one. I'm going to buy one.
It's awesome though.
But these guys set up a fireplace in it, a movie screen, a table, blow up couch. Obviously, they've got mattresses. That's their movie screen.
Awesome.
I sent this to Adam. Doesn't that look like Legend Meets Science?
Yes, it
Like they were going to
does.
watch it. That's one reason I just like, that is, swear to God, that's from Legend Meets Science. And then the face comes up over above the trees.
It's gotta be.
Good. Yeah, it's weird. I'm gonna check that out. Not Legend Meets Science 2, but number 1.
Yes.
By the way, we are leaving on December 6th, going out east. I think I mentioned this already. And we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, collecting a whole bunch of evidence for forensics, and then we're interviewing a bunch of scientists at Salt Fork State Park. Yeah. All right, what do we got here? Clip 5. Sound is good. This is really interesting. I did not really know about this, but there's apparently a super volcano under the Sierra Nevada mountains. Go ahead and play it.
We're not sure what's causing it, but we do know that it's located on the edge of one of the largest volcanic complexes in the United States, called the Long Valley Caldera Complex.
The Long Valley Caldera is a 200 square mile supervolcano that sits under the Sierra Nevada mountains. From the skies, all appears peaceful, but beneath these forested slopes lie 240 cubic miles of roiling 2,000-degree Fahrenheit magma.
Well, I think because of where these tree patches are situated, it may have something to do with volcanic gases that are emanating up from the magma chamber deep underground.
Over 700,000 years ago, the Long Valley supervolcano erupts with 2,000 times the force of that which destroyed Mount St. Helens.
Whoa.
Cool. Yeah, it's a big one. I didn't know about that super volcano.
No.
You know, and they say if these super volcanoes go off, it could end life as we know it. All right, look at the size of this wolf. The reason this clip's nothing amazing, but this person is right next to this very huge wolf. Go ahead and play it. There's no sound. You don't need it.
Okay, cool.
But the wolf by itself, you go, okay. But look at the size difference.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
Man.
Yep. Okay, that's enough. Clip 7, sound is good. No one was hurt making this video. It's basically a compilation of things going to crap in seconds, and these are all RC, very, very expensive airplanes, super expensive. Some of these planes can cost 25 grand. Just go ahead and play it. Sound is good.
Whoa.
Oh boy! No!
That would be what I would do to a RC plane.
Oh yeah.
Super quick. I like the added on
That was like.
All right. That's enough. You get the idea. But could you imagine working on something for a whole winter and taking it out for its first flight and it's gone? Seconds.
Boom, gone.
Clip 8, sound is good. This is really interesting because I never really thought about it, but if you're ever driven up the California coast, like in Northern California especially, it's just desolate. Literally that whole coast. And that desolation continues up into Washington, you know, once you get away from Seattle. But go ahead and play it. It's really interesting. Clip 8. Sounds good.
Why is the Northwest coast so empty? A lot of the land north of San Francisco is densely wooded and without natural harbors. The rough and cold Pacific, combined with the fact that there aren't many strong economic factors to drive settlement, means that this practically untouched land is extremely underpopulated for its size, being home to only around 2 million people.
But the reason was because there's no bays.
There's no bays.
No inlets. So towns can't, form.
Yeah.
So that's what I found interesting. So if there would have been bays along the coast versus just rocky, straight rock, there'd be a lot more people living there.
A lot more people.
Yeah, it's very undeveloped. So anyhow, I'm glad. It's cool. I mean, that's where the Bluff Creek is. It's near the ocean there.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at? Clip 9, no sound, but I would definitely freak out if I saw this. I would think this thing is going to walk up and ring the doorbell. Go ahead, play it. So people think this is a guy in a suit. It's not.
That is so
just
creepy.
Wait. Yeah, it is kind of creepy. You bored yet? Just watch.
Oh no.
Just the way it walks, so straight. Ding dong. Okay.
No, thank you.
I would freak out.
Oh yeah.
All right, clip 10. The sound is good. The last clip. This is really a very well produced little clip, and it just gets into the platypus, into all the reasons it's so bizarre. Nature played a joke. Go ahead.
The platypus is the strangest animal in the world. To begin with the obvious, its beak is very similar to that of a duck, but its tail resembles more that of a beaver. Despite being mammals, they lay eggs instead of giving birth. If that weren't strange enough, the skin and fur of platypuses emits a fluorescent glow when exposed to ultraviolet light. They have venomous glands in their hind legs. This venom causes intense pain and swelling in humans. When hunting underwater, they practically do it blindly, as their duck bill is capable of detecting the electromagnetic waves of their prey. One more thing, females secrete milk through pores in the skin, and their offspring collect it by licking the mother's abdomen.
Kind of weird, huh?
Super weird.
By the way, I missed to say hello to Jen. We've got Foxy's friends. I wanted to include those guys. Anyhow, so I don't want to give Jason a huge intro, but Jason B. Miller was on part 1, so you can, if you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. But he is a retired Army medic. Yes, he's a very brilliant guy.
Super brilliant.
He is brilliant, and he's very serious about his research. He takes it very seriously. He has not done a lot of podcasts. I mean, this is
he's out in the field, man.
I don't know if he's done any other ones really at all.
No.
But anyhow, we're lucky to have him, and so let's go ahead.
Lucky.
Yes, let's bring Jason on.
Hello, Jason.
How you both doing?
Good. Hopefully, we don't have internet problems tonight. Remember?
Oh, I do.
I had to upgrade my whole system after that night.
And you paid your bill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paid the bill.
Okay.
Yeah. Promise.
Okay. All right.
Promise. So, I don't know where to start, but why don't you go ahead and just start? Tell us, where you live, where you do, kind of a rough area where you do your research, and why you do the research. Why are you? I always say obsessed, because I really think most people who spend as much time doing what you do, they are obsessed a bit, trying to get answers. But go ahead and just kind of give us a little bit of background on yourself, Jason.
Okay, I'll make this quick. A Washington State native, born in Pasco, Washington. Joined the military in 1988 and spent a lot of time in the medical field, most of my time. And once I retired, I wanted to raise my family in an area that would be conducive to great schools, not big city life, just that small town living. And my wife and I picked Northeast Washington State, little tiny town called Colville, a few miles from the Canadian border, and one of the beautifulest places on this earth I've ever been to. And lifelong outdoorsman, you name it, I've probably participated in it. And I mean, that's the short little story, short little background.
And what got you? What was the right angle turn that got you? Do you want to tell us the full story of what got you involved in Bigfoot research?
Well, part 1, towards the end, explained what got me obsessed myself. Absolutely, you worded it correctly. Obsessed. Not with the fact that I'm going to be the one to find the golden ticket or be the world's famous Sasquatch researcher and find that piece of evidence that everybody else is searching for. Yeah. I came close. If I had had a camera or some sort of video piece of equipment with me, I probably would be up on that list. It's a long story. So part 1 really goes into great detail of this friendly encounter face to face with my family. Just my daughter and I were the only two that witnessed this young Sasquatch. And unexpectedly, this was just a walk that we took in the woods that we've always taken. And this encounter changed my life 180 degrees. From that point on, I've just been, whatever it takes to get out and do what I do. I do want to give a shout out. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to my family, my wife and my kids who support my effort. Because at a point in time, for many years, I was out in the bush more than I was at home. Being out in the woods was where I felt I belonged. And my family supported that. And still to this day, they do. Because they just know that that's my passion.
It sounds like you guys are close.
Magical marriage, and I found the right one, and my kids are just rock stars. So it all just worked perfectly.
That's awesome. But yeah, I could imagine coming face to face with a juvenile Sasquatch would cause somebody's life to change.
In the previous podcast, I stated that I was always either a skeptic or it's possible. So I was on the fence, always open to, yeah, sure. But this event just like Mike Tyson smacking in the face, just a wake up call. And yeah, it was a life changer.
So the area you do research, are there a lot of mountains, I guess? Would you call them mountains?
Well, where I'm located, it's Idaho is extremely close, and then you have the Rocky Mountains. I'm way further away from the Cascade Mountains. So we do have mountain ranges, but we have a lot of dense forest that a lot of logging occurs, but it's very, very isolated. And if you were to look on a map, Google Earth, Google Maps, whatever, you'll see that it's up in this corner. It's pretty pristine. It's one of the most unspoiled places on this earth, I should say, in the U.S. that hasn't been overrun or just run down by humans so far.
I haven't been there, Jason, because it's too isolated. Not joking. I mean, it's just, I've never been there. I would imagine most people haven't. How far away is it from the Blue Mountain Range?
Okay, the Blue Mountain Range would be south of me.
Okay.
That's the Walla Walla.
Yep.
You're close to the Idaho-Oregon border. The Blue Mountain Range is part of my growing up. That's another hometown spot. So I know it pretty well. 5-hour drive.
Yeah, and of course that's where Paul Freeman did all his research, and numerous researchers came up with just literally a ton of evidence.
My father-in-law worked with Paul Freeman.
Oh, okay.
At the Forest Service.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and before he passed away years ago,
Wow.
we had talked about him and Paul Freeman, but those two had never really. There wasn't any information there that I could pull out.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
But,
yeah. Okay.
Small world.
Super interesting. So, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the audio that you've heard. And in part one, we focus on their intelligence. And of course, communication, intelligence, finding things that blew your mind away. It's all tied together because,
Absolutely.
You're not going to communicate if you're not intelligent.
That's correct.
And we don't even know. Of course, they no doubt communicate with each other. What do you think they do? Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
What they do and how they may operate. What are your theories on how they communicate with each other?
That's an excellent question. In the first podcast, you asked me if I had ever heard of Ron Moorhead.
Right.
And I flat out says, of course I knew his name, but you mentioned I need to hear his audio. Well, I made an error. If you had mentioned Sierra sounds, that would have rung a bell. I didn't put the two together. I contacted Ron Moorhead, and boy, did we have a long talk one night to discuss the differences in the Sierra sounds and what communication that I and another person had heard. Polar opposites. Absolutely. Mandarin versus French, etc. Just there was no comparison. I'd also believe that there are multiple species interbred, and that'll come into play when we get going here. I believe multiple different species on this globe. For instance, in Florida, they might communicate different than the species in my area, etc. But I do believe that they have some sort of common way of communicating, whether it's verbal, mental, telepathy type, or through glyphs. And I've submitted some photographs to Alex to show here about true glyphs that I believe is communication, some sort of alphabet or wordage. Sure, there we go. Long story with this.
Those are mind-blowing.
Thank you. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh no, those are made by a person." That's fine. Your opinion, great. Everybody have your opinion. But let me tell you the backstory on this real quick. I'm a map connoisseur. When I look at a flat paper map with the contour lines, I see it in 3D. It's ingrained into my skull through military training to look at maps in that way. They're just not lines and contour lines and etc. So I'm constantly picking out areas that I believe would have travel routes, travel corridors, access to great water sources, getting from point A to point B efficiently. And I happen to have picked this one area that had been logged heavily 50, 75 years ago, possibly. And then it was replanted. And all of the logging roads that were in this area were absolutely overgrown at this point in time when I entered this area. So I'm walking down one logging road. That logging road spurs off into a secondary logging road that's even more constricted. Take it another logging road that's even more overgrown. And now we're just working our way through this logging road that's just thick with brush and branches, and working our way. And I have my son with me. He was 16, 17 at the time. And we're just way back on this logging road. And I go, pick a spot and let's just dump off and let's go in a couple 100 yards and just look around. Just random. No game trail. It was just picking a general spot whenever my son felt like, hey, Dad, let's boogie off into here. So we just go off the logging road. We go in a couple 100 yards and we cross this creek. Now, the creek at this time of the year was just barely trickling. And the first thing I noticed was in the creek bed. Alex, can you pull up the fish trap image?
Yeah. I think this is one we were talking about.
Okay, so
Right?
the first thing, correct. So the first thing I saw.
Well, just hang on a second.
Yeah.
When you say fish trap, obviously this was meant when there was water flowing.
Correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to state there. By the other thing I want to interject. Excuse me. Those glyphs give me a chill, and I don't know why.
Oh, say, I'll get to. It gets a little creepier.
Okay, so I'm going to let you talk. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Please interrupt. This is, at any point in time, please. Especially if I start to stray off somewhere. But the first thing I saw was this. Now, this is a technique that a lot of most, or if not all, survivalists know how to chase fish into an area that's contained, and then you can obtain it. It's a fish trap. It's clearly a fish trap. But again, you can just barely see the water receding. So in the spring melt off, there's going to be larger pool, or prior to this being semi-dry, there's still pools in sporadic areas that would hold the fish. But in the spring runoff, when the current is flowing, this would be perfect to just sit, go up above, push him down, and there's your food source. I'm like, this is incredible. This is, whew, what a find. So we're sitting there looking around, and I said, okay, well, let's get up over the bank. And as soon as we stepped up and got off the bank of the little creek bed, 5-10 feet from this fish trap was those glyphs. Each one is different. Each one has different rocks stacked up. Each one is not identical. So I've taken photographs, and what I noticed right away was the lack of debris, pine needles that have not fell and built up onto these glyphs. This again, glyphs is what I call them.
Sure. Oh, by the way, I believe those are rocks in the center, correct? Deborah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right now, I'm still looking at the fish trap, but yes, they were rocks that were river rocks. They were brought from, I believe, in that creek bed, carried up just a few feet.
Yeah.
And
well, the one thing is, those were very rounded.
Yes.
The ones that are in there, and they're not just random rocks that fell in there. You can tell they're choice, very choice rocks. I still can't figure out why I get chills every time I look at that. It's weird.
Well, there's another photograph of one up close that has them chosen to be stacked.
But put the glyphs back up, Alex.
Yeah. And what I want to point out about the glyphs is that, again, the lack of forest flora and fauna debris that will build up over time from storms, from other things that would gather and start to make these look old. They haven't been kicked over by a bear or a moose or heavy snowmelt or snowpack. The branches that broke were still green. They were still soft and malleable. They were not dry and snap like a glass rod. I can't explain it other than this to me is possibly language, communication. It means something. Who knows?
You want to know my
first? It could be an alphabet. It could be pointing to whatever it's saying. It gave me the creeps.
I have
not scared, but
see, Jason.
Okay, the fish trap, and then these. What could this possibly mean? And again, there's no way for us to know. So what I did,
Jason, have you heard gibberish? Like the Sierra sounds?
have I ever personally?
Yeah. Have you ever heard anything weird like that?
No, only the communication that I described in the first podcast, the gentle talk between a male and a female.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to state about that was neither one of them interrupted each other while they were having this talk. So the female would allow the male to talk. The male would allow the female to talk. And there was no cutting each other off.
So you could clearly tell it was multiple beings. It wasn't just one creature.
Oh, it was two. Yeah, two. Like I mentioned, the one was female with this soft, sexy voice as a female.
Yeah.
The other one had this deep, raspy Hulk Hogan. What up, brother? That deep man, testosterone filled voice. But they were polite to one another. But no, never any gibberish. Nothing like the Sierra sounds where it sounded just chaotic. No.
Well, we'll get into that. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So here was just a thought that flashed into my head looking at these. What they might represent is offspring. Because they're like little mini creations of the big nest that they may use based on like Shane Corson's work. And the rock might represent a baby.
I had thought about that also.
Oh, you did? Okay. That just pops into my head.
That's a good, yeah.
Like a juvenile. Maybe a juvenile built these.
Correct. A Lego set.
To go, oh, this is what's going on 8 miles over here in this very hidden area. We've got X amount of offspring going on here. I don't know. It just, I call it brain diarrhea. Just popped into my head.
Well, Doug, what's so just fascinating about what you just mentioned was I'm going off memory. I have everything written down in logbooks that things that have popped into my mind, and that was one of them.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe there was the big one with the stack rocks. That's his dad, and then here's mom, and we got a couple kids here. A family count, or like you, kids out playing and goofing. I wrote down so many theories.
Interesting.
But again, void of debris, so freshly made, right next to the fish trap, but so far off the beaten path. Again, a logging road, a spur logging road overgrown, another overgrown one. So each one we took was further and further and further away from what most lazy humans would do. They would probably have given up.
Yeah.
But then
obviously these could be made by a human, but for what damn reason?
And who for someone to find them, just stumble across them the way my son and I did at the most random spot would be like winning the lottery back to back. I mean, the chances are next to zero that somebody would find these. What I did notice on the walk in, it had rained a couple days prior, but there was no fresh footprints. And I'm always looking for signs of people being in areas, always. So I came home and I told a law enforcement officer, a friend of mine, and I took him up there. And again, he just was baffled as can be also. So what I did is I set up a game camera. How I set up my game cameras is my own way of doing it. I completely think out the box, but that's a whole nother subject. And I come back a couple weeks later and no animals had passed by, nothing. But I captured 2 pictures that I can't explain, and I should have sent them, but they were at night. The moon was directly above. Something triggered the camera to take 2 photographs, and there was light coming in, like someone was shining a flashlight from behind my game camera, almost horizontal. So it wasn't moonlight or any ambient light coming from above. This was coming straight, shining straight like a flashlight. I can't explain that, where that illumination came from. I left the camera there for a good 4 or 5 more months. Nothing. So, but that's just my representation of glyphs. And not every stick that's crossed, not every tree branch that looks unnatural is, I mean, what you want it to be. But when you find something like that, that you can't explain, I was onto something.
Did you also get kind of chills from those things?
Oh yeah. I felt, again, somehow I had stumbled into their again, classroom, their living area where they. Yes, it bothered me. Not enough to not go back, but enough to tell me, just leave a camera. Don't touch. I didn't touch any of that stuff on the ground. There's no way I would have left it, bother any of it.
Well, let me throw a theory at you.
Yeah.
So often when I find these teepees, there's a huge one, but there's a little baby one built. It's as if this is kind of the same thing. But obviously a Bigfoot nest would be quite huge if you listen to Shane Corson's work and the Olympic Project's work on those nests. They're quite big. And these seem to be little duplicates because they're kind of woven in the same way. I want to make sure Shane gets those photos. Please. If that's okay, we'll get those to Shane. I'll point them out.
Absolutely. They're right now.
He might see a pattern of the way the sticks are stacked or built. So
please,
it's super interesting.
I want this out now. The stuff that I am showing you, again, I've kept tight to myself, and now I want it out. I want everything that I've collected. I want it shared to benefit. So please,
awesome.
Please. But yes, I
awesome.
did feel a little freaky, little nervous that I was in their area.
Yeah.
Not enough to not go back, but I knew once I came back and got the game camera, leave it alone. Leave the spot alone. Yeah. Just respect it, because they're doing something there for, like you said, maybe the teepees for the mom and dad, and they want the kids to learn how to make their own, and mom and dad wants privacy, and the kids, whatever. But yeah, it makes sense. You got to teach your kids how to survive.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a couple of interesting comments, Alex, that Herman made, and then Gina Productions made. Trust your gut. And I think there's, a lot of, that's what I do when I look at Bigfoot footage generally. It's like, nah, something's wrong. But when I remember when I first saw the Patterson film, my hair stood up on my arms, and said gut. It's a visceral feeling when you see something that's, and I get that from your glyphs.
Thank you.
Can you put some more of those glyphs up, Alex?
Yeah, sure.
Before we move on to another topic.
Let's see.
So let's see. Leave them up for a while, though, each one.
So we started
I
here.
Study them a little bit.
Yeah, I should have sent more.
No. Oh God, you got more. Okay.
Yeah, these are just the ones that I just grabbed real quick, and
it's really interesting, the construction of them. Super interesting.
But the sticks are clean green. They're soft. They were not. This was freshly made, and it hadn't been there for a long time. So, yeah, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, there's no debris, and the rocks are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one that's got 2 rocks in it. Is that where they had somebody had twins?
Could have been, yeah.
It's so interesting. Gosh.
I told you I've got some goodies for you.
Yeah, I just I don't know why. I just want to keep staring at those, and I can't. It's bugging me. Like, it's bugging me. Why? I get a really weird feeling from these. Oh, throw another one up, Alex.
The next one is this one.
Yeah,
we saw that one, but this is really interesting too. How many groups of these have you found throughout the years?
Like this?
Yeah.
This is one of a kind.
1 year, okay.
One of a kind.
Oh, so it was one area and that's it.
That's it. I've never
gotcha.
seen
Okay,
it before.
So it wasn't numerous years.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's
and I want to go back so bad to see if there's been a change or how they look now. But again, for some reason I want to respect this area. That's the gut feeling I get. Don't bother them, let them live. But I might go sneak back this spring.
Well, and that's certainly a fine line of bothering them. I personally don't think it would. By obviously you're not going in there shooting up the place. You're going in there respecting it and peeking. I mean, they built them for somebody.
Correct.
They did.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they built them. It's obviously some form of communication.
Exactly.
And you can't communicate unless you have multiple. So the person who built them or the creature that built them to communicate.
There you go.
Something.
Now, Alex, I think there's one more that's a close-up with stacked rocks. I don't know if I did. I think that's the one.
John had asked whether there's any Boy Scout camps near there. Which is a good question.
No, 0. And that is a great question. Where this is at, what I should have done is I should have taken a screenshot of Google Maps or Google Earth and put a pin drop and to just show you that there's nothing within 50 miles around.
Where's the nearest road from these?
From this?
Yeah. Or trail.
I'm a long hiker. So the road, and I'm gonna get. I'll tell it the people out there who live in my area. This is the middle fork of the Mill Creek Road, off Aladdin Road, and I'm going to. It's a Forest Service road that's not maintained, so it's better have a 4-wheel drive to get up in there. From where I parked, probably a good 3 miles walk in slowly.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Okay, let's
Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Where you have to park your vehicle, there's the Kelly humps. So no ATVs can get in, or anybody can drive a vehicle up in there. A horse or on foot, of course, maybe a motorcycle. But again, this is an old logging area that had been replanted. So this was found in a new growth area from the logging 50, 70 years ago. But again, I just want to reiterate just how far off into the bush this is. And again, the chances of finding this was just amazing.
How far were those glyphs from the fish trap that you found in the stream bed?
Just a few feet.
Oh, really?
Just a few feet.
So
We're
that
standing there.
close.
We're standing there observing this fish trap. I'm explaining this to my son, and all we had to do was take a couple steps up the creek bed, then 5 or 6 steps, and right there were the glyphs. Just so again, just feet away, less than 10 feet away.
Wow. Super interesting. Super interesting. Is this near where you'd found a bone with a radial bone break, which we're going to do a big section on in Legend Meets Science?
Mm-hmm.
And you found sticks, like these things were fishing the marrow out.
Correct.
You found like 4 sticks inside of a bone that were pushed in, which could only be to fish marrow out. I don't know what else.
Oh, that's it. So, Alex, I sent you another picture of a femur bone, and I think it's from a moose. It was pretty big. That has a stick, but you can see that the bone is old, very old. There was no bone marrow available. Now, I found this on the ground, just walking through the bush. I cannot guarantee you if that stick was put in there, but like I mentioned previous, or if somehow over the years that stick might have gotten kicked in, or the force 4 is always changing, but it was pretty far down, or it was used, all the bone marrow was consumed, and then they just discarded it. And I think the date's not on there, but I think this was 2016, 17, right in that same area. Again, I'm brand new to this. I should have taken it. I should have collected that, bagged it up, but that's another example. Now that's a compound fracture, which would easily be set by somebody who knows how to reset that type of fracture. So when you're talking about the spiral breaks, again, Alex, I'd like to pull up the tree pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found these. Now that I cannot explain. That's not an animal rubbing its antlers, to get off the velvet, like an elk or moose or a deer would do. Something powerful grabbed the top and the lower and twisted that. And now that's a spiral. Yeah. That's spiraling.
Yeah, that's twisted quite a few times.
Oh, yeah. And that's new. I've found numerous, what these are called, I just call them tree breaks. But I've tried to grab a very small pine tree, and I've tried to, no way. The power, no, there's no way. And even if you did or use tools, you would leave tool marks. There would be some sort of visual evidence of
tool use.
Something that would create enough power. But having hands strong enough to spiral break a femur that I mentioned previous, that's an example of a spiral break. And then there's one more picture of a spiral. We got to get. Oh, wait till we get to that. No. So that's another one. That's another one. So that's a bigger tree. So you can see the fibrous material spun around, continuously spun around. Now, I've had people tell me that's from an elk, a moose, a deer. I can't picture an ungulate grabbing its antlers and sitting there spinning its head around, trying to twist this into circles over and over and over. That's just not, in my
This
opinion,
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But the power that it takes to shear that off by twisting and a continuing twisting motion, that's raw energy. That's just massive strength. But again, that's a spiral. It spiraled by the twisting motion.
Yeah.
So again, these are things that I find that I feel I need to share now.
So what are your theories on them twisting trees? Why? What would be let's do kind of a laundry list of the theories.
Stay out of here.
Okay.
This is what I can do to you. I've also thought it meant the way that the tree might be broken out at this angle. Maybe it's pointing, a direction.
Yeah. I went this way or.
Correct. The other one, I don't know. But my whole theories are it's communication. It's telling others who are in that area A, B, C, or D. Maybe it's saying I'm angry. I'm in a bad mood right now. Or if your troop is coming through your group, you might want to go around us. Or maybe it's just a mean sucker that is saying, stay out of here. Those are my theories. I find nothing that would indicate something a clear, in my opinion, like you said, a laundry list. Those are just my few theories.
I wonder what the favorite one is. Like Kevin Morrison just said, mapping.
Sure.
It's kind of the first thing that always comes to my mind. It's like this is a directional marker of either where I've gone or where I'm going, or where there's water, or where who knows.
Well, here's what one thing that I do religiously. So in the background, let's say I just decided to just go straight into that background and walk for 4 hours. I'm going to carry with me some sort of flagging tape.
Yeah.
And I always have a compass, a modern compass, lensatic compass. I carry a map with me, special maps. And so the flagging, is just possibly this is the direct. So I don't get really turned around in some of this stuff. But yeah, it could be mapping an area. Endless theories, guys. Keep pumping them. Let's hear. I can't see the chat, so I'm curious to hear anybody else's theories.
Well, there's a lot of comments. They're coming in quicker than I can read them.
Right on.
Did you find hair, Jason?
No. I was a rookie at this. I didn't think about it. All I knew was cameras, GoPro camera. Keep that going. If I could, keep one behind me going. Bring multiple types of cameras, lots of batteries. Electronics fail at the worst time. But no, at this point in time, I was so green. It didn't cross my mind. Later on, when we get into something here, I learned my lesson. And this is all things that we researchers learn as we go along. But I do want to reiterate one point. All of this I've taught myself. Most of it is common sense. A lot of it is military training, especially how to get from point A to point B without being seen, etc. But again, I don't go on the internet and research what other people are doing. I just have figured this out over time. And then when I start communicating with other people, it just parallels, but most of it does. But no, at this point in time, I didn't look for hair, and I should have, but I do want to bring up one other type of what I call glyph. And I don't know if, again, this is my finds. I did not produce a photograph, but I have found in multiple areas the tops of trees that have been shoved into the ground from the tip down into the ground. People have stated, well, the wind has broken the top off, and then as it falls, gravity will drive it into the ground a bit. No. We're talking about tree branches that are 4, 5, 6 inches in diameter, 10, 12 feet sometimes in length, and shoved into the ground a good foot, 18 inches.
Okay.
So reverse, take a Christmas tree upside down and shove that sucker into the ground so deep. What does that mean? That's just another type of what I call glyph. And I found them in the middle of a old logging road that I've walked many times.
Well, maybe that could be a temporary blind for them. Gives them some place to kind of hide and wait. They could make their own, put a tree in the middle of a logging road. Animals utilize logging roads, all the ungulates do, moose do. So maybe that was standing behind that to break its silhouette up.
Anything's possible.
It's a theory. Sure,
it is
a theory.
So if I'm walking into this logging road, and we're not talking a traveled, we're talking about decades old logging road. And it's not there. And then all of a sudden I come in 6 weeks, a couple of months later, and this tree is shoved in upside down. I take that as a sign. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm not going back in this area.
Any upside down trees, Jason?
Only the ones that I'm describing that have been upside down and shoved into the ground.
So they were upside down and shoved it.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
All
right, thank you. Good night, everybody.
So yeah, not a like a small Christmas tree.
Okay, you're talking about the tip upside down, and the tip is shoved in the ground.
Correct.
Holy crap.
Yes, inverted.
Oh.
And into the ground so deep that unless you had a sledgehammer up top and you're slamming that, you're pounding that down like a post.
That's the hardest part to get in the ground too, which is weird.
Yes, it's but that's
well, that's been a thing.
I
with
took
that,
my son up to one that we found together, and on the way back, he pulled it out of the ground. I scolded him for that. I said,
Robert Alley has documented upside down trees shoved into the ground.
All this is new knowledge to me.
Oh,
this
really?
This is stuff that I have held.
Well, I think you can find those pictures online if you look up Robert Alley Rain Coast Sasquatch. They should, and just type in upside down trees. I think they're posted all over. And you might go, oh, that's exactly what I saw.
You got it. I'll look it up.
Yeah, super interesting.
But again, I just want to make it clear that these are things that I have found over time, documented, photographed, measured, and just not shared. So every time I say something and somebody says, like you were telling me to check out, I'm fascinated because I want to share my experience.
Wow.
And then I know I'm not the only one and not crazy.
And you didn't take pictures, I take it, of those trees.
I have pictures.
You do?
Pictures. Uh-huh.
Do we have anybody?
No, I didn't send them to you.
Oh, okay.
No, this is all on my cache of photos.
Yeah, if you could, I don't know if you want to take a second to find one of those, if you know where they are, and get it to Alex in Messenger, he could probably post it tonight.
Right now, honestly,
no way.
You can still access my Stevens County No, I mean Northeastern Washington Sasquatch Society Facebook
Okay.
page, and
Okay.
it's one of the photographs way down at the bottom.
Oh, Alex, can you go to that?
Yeah, can you say that one more time, Jason?
Okay. Northeast Washington Sasquatch Society.
Okay.
And it should come up with a green picture of Washington State.
Okay, let me see what comes up.
Yeah, because then we can put those up.
Yeah, and there I've shared a lot of photographs on there, but I still have a lot more that I haven't posted.
Yeah.
But it should come. It should pop up.
I think I got it.
Okay.
See here.
Oh, I might have to click and accept you as a.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got to join.
Yeah, and I'd have to log out here and.
Okay. Never mind.
And I'll get it. I'll get it to you. I'll get the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. Another time would be great.
But one thing I did extremely well was photograph the height and not the point, but the section that was pointing up. That it shows that there was no, again, like a mallet, a sledgehammer, or some sort of tool pounding that into the ground. It was sheared off.
Jeez.
And but tip into the ground, so inverted.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I think everybody agrees on. They have great strength, and they could just do, it's their super ability. It's one
Absolutely.
of them. But 18 inches is pretty far.
That's that's my guesstimate based on that's my guesstimate when I was doing the measurements of the circumference of
that's crazy.
In the ground but it was, if you pushed on it, it's not just going to pop out the ground. I mean, it was in there solid. Yeah, and I found multiple of those, in multiple areas.
Put up tripping. You can read that comment. It says, Jason, you are a great researcher and so humble about it.
Thank you.
So
awesome. That's
nice
awesome.
He's the real deal. He's the real deal, guys.
Yeah.
Will you explain this? Because I mean, people should know.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The links you go to for research.
Right on. Okay. This is my home away from home. It's one of many. So again, when I gave props to my wife and my kids, this is where I'm staying. I'm staying in natural shelters like this. These are massive boulders that have just created a little shelter, collect firewood before the winter comes. I have a cache up in most of these. I've walked in survival gear, food, other things, a lot of fire starting equipment. And this is just one of many cubby holes that I will crawl up into and keep that fire going all night, and then snoop and poop around and go check my cameras. And
very cool.
That's just one of them.
Very cool.
So I don't say no Motel 6 and then drive to the local RV park and walk in. No, I'm back in there.
Dude, this is why I think you and Ron Moorhead do have a lot in common, because he's roughed it like this.
Him and I, we were so parallel. It was amazing talk. So
I can only imagine. Yeah. There's one other picture you sent, and I don't want to bring it up. I want you to tee it up, but you sent a photo of a Sasquatch.
The one you clicked on and clicked off real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about this?
Yeah, I really want to get to, because that's where we left off on the last podcast. Sibylla Irwin, it's her drawing. In fact, her and I are going to collaborate tomorrow on a drawing of the juvenile Sasquatch that my daughter and I saw.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I had to get a consent from her to use this picture here. Well, I searched the internet, best of my ability, and found this. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because I'm going to set this up. So we at the end of the last podcast, I left it stating that we went home, and the next morning I packed up our camper trailer, 28-foot camper trailer, and I'm going right back. I got to go back. I've got to go back into this area that this encounter happened. So this is 24 hours later, and of course I have the support of my wife. My kids are like, "We're going camping again. Let's go." So they asked if they could bring a friend, Luke Absher, if you're out there, I love you, brother. And so we're gathering up stuff to take with us, because I don't know how long we're going to be up there, because we can stay up there as long as we decide or run out of whatever we need, or the kids need. So we're heading right back to this spot, and as you drive in, it's a perfectly flat camp spot. A lot of people use it. It's heavily used. And it's right at the trailhead of this trail that we had walked up. So we get there, and everybody's doing their thing. I have only one thing on my mind. I got to get back up to where my daughter and I had this encounter. I've got to get up there. But it's summer. It's the first week of August. I've got plenty of time. It doesn't get dark till late. So wife, she's setting up camp. I'm hauling up a fell log, bucket up, split it for firewood, so we have plenty of firewood. So we're keeping ourselves busy for quite a few hours. So once we got everything done and we could relax and start goofing off, I'm gone. Let's go. I got to get up there. And everybody wanted to go again. I wanted to go by myself. But they all wanted to go. Plus this friend of my kids that they brought, he wanted to go. So one thing I have with me all the time, whether it's in my truck, whenever I leave, I have a backpack, and not your typical backpack, but it's my setup now. It's my research backpack, and but it was different at the time. What I carry now, I've learned what to bring, but at this point in time, the only smart thing that I had with me was I have my medical kit, which goes everywhere with me. And in my medical kit, I carry everything needed to take care of myself or somebody, whether I need to sew them up, set their leg, a tourniquet, any and all meds that you can take that are legal for certain situations. My years of medical knowledge, I know what to take and have, and etc. Anyways, but everything else was just survival gear and other junk I had thrown in. So we're going up there, and we're working our way up. Nothing happens. Nothing. It's just normal day. But we get to the exact spot where this juvenile Sasquatch was sitting, and right where it had sat was the best specimen you could ever ask for fecal matter. Now, ungulates, deer, elk, moose, their feces are easily identifiable. Pellets, round, droplets, droppings, etc. Cougar, of course, the cats are going to scrape and cover their feces. Wolves and coyotes, you're going to see the bones, etc., and their matter, and it looks like dog do. But this was so fresh that when I took a little tiny stick and I touched it and I applied a little bit of pressure, just the outside of the feces had dried enough to where there was a little resistance, but then you could puncture through that into the soft fecal matter. So this was, I believe, from 24 hours earlier, that it had taken a crap right then and there while it's watching us, or prior. And I'm like, I have got to collect this. This is what I came up here for. So
how big was it?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And I'm glad you asked that before I get to how I collected it. One thing that I'd like to.
And then Alex wants to know if you tasted it.
Oh,
sorry.
I was gonna say,
not this one. It didn't taste like there was no pine nuts in it. No, but we. No, that was a good one. It was the normal size of an adult dump. But what I want to make crystal clear is we human beings, our digestive system used to be, our intestines, our small intestines, our large intestines, and our rectum used to be double its size because of the diet prior to fire. Now this is scientific knowledge, medical knowledge.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Well, the reason by this, because the reason for the double size was our gut needed twice as much bacteria to break down the food sources. So, of course, we're full of bacteria. We're full of flora and fauna inside of us. Natural over evolution, it's just developed that way. But once fire became the norm, our intestines didn't need as much bacteria and size to break down and absorb the nutrients. The meat was cooked. It was easy to digest. So over time, the small intestine, the large intestine shrunk to be more efficient instead of being twice the size and having to use twice the amount of energy and twice the amount of blood, etc. So as food passes through into our stomach, through our into our small intestine, and it works its way down, it develops a particular look, almost segmented in a certain way. That's excluding, if you've got loose stool or you're constipated, etc. But a normal human fecal dump looks a certain way. This was identical, in my opinion, to a digestive tract of a human. It had all the signs and visual markings that I would say somebody took a dump here, but no toilet paper. But what were the chances of somebody 24 hours later or whatever going to the bathroom right there where this had just sat 24 hours earlier?
Yeah.
So I knew I got to collect this. So the first thing that I did was I opened up my med kit and I laid everything out. My gloves are surgical gloves, so they're 100% sterile. You have to don them a very particular way. I just happen to have 2 sterile vials with me that were sealed, and I had other instruments with me, and I had a couple sandwich Ziploc bags. So I took 2 samples and put them in the sterile containers, and then I took the remaining fecal matter and put it in this Ziploc bag, which was unsterile. So this was as professional and clean and void of contamination as I could have done. And I still have them, but I don't have them on site. I have them kept with someone else because that's just how. This is my choice. But that's where my first documentary came into play with Dr. Meldrum and etc.
Yeah, if you want to get divorced, put poop in your freezer at home.
I've got other stuff in my freezer that my wife. Yeah, I know. I don't tell her.
Alex, do not put poop in your freezer.
Don't.
It's a test.
It ain't fudge. It ain't. It ain't. Yeah. Good.
Someone might put it in the microwave and try to eat it.
Then you're really getting a divorce.
No, I'll be in trouble. But yeah, I collected it, and I knew I had something, but this was my first encounter, and I am a rookie at this. So I just knew this had to be collected, and yeah,
well, maybe we can do. I don't know. We'll have to talk in private, but maybe we can get those tested.
There is a DNA lab called Hominid Enigma in Southern California, and they only do research on Sasquatch samples. I'll send you that information. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No, I haven't.
They're a DNA lab, and they are only out there to to send in your samples. I'm surprised that you haven't heard of that. Because, like I said, and the documentary, they just twisted it, and anyways, that's a long story. By
the way, I'm going to interrupt you. A Wandering Lorax said that they had sent you a pic of the tree, Alex, the upside down tree.
Let me see. Is it to my Facebook?
Yeah. Can you specify how you sent it to Alex? Probably Facebook or email? Oh, hey, Mark.
Oh, it's Mark.
Yeah, I know, Mark.
Okay. Let's see here.
He said text.
Okay,
So,
I got it.
Okay, he got it.
Let me just send it to my computer.
Oh
Sorry.
no,
keep talking, guys.
Well, we're just setting you up for part 3. That's all.
Awesome. Well, okay. So after I collected the sample, that's the only reason why I went up there is I wanted to go back to that spot, and just who knows, and there that was, again, like hitting the lottery. But again, I'm in my second day of having my world twisted upside down by this encounter. Well, tell
us about the encounter now, and we have the drawing that Sibylla did.
Oh no, that's please, I got to wait for that.
We're gonna wait.
We gotta build up to that.
Yeah,
but Jason, this is the photo. That
okay, we'll do the
Mark
tree.
was talking about.
I believe that's mine.
Yeah, that is.
Yep, that's mine.
Somebody went and got it and sent it to us.
Mark Gilmer?
Yeah.
Mark, he was on the first podcast. Thank you, Mark. Right on. That is an example of an inverted tree shoved into the ground.
Yeah.
And you can see that at the tip there, that's not been slammed or smashed or compressed by a tool. That's been just... And that's just one of many.
That's crazy.
But that is an example of what I find in certain areas. Thank you, Mark. So we're done. I don't want to be up here anymore. Again, I just wanted to boogie up, but they all wanted to walk again. So we come back down to camp, and we got quite a few hours until it gets dark. And so we're out walking around, just exploring, just goofing off. One thing of importance, the only firearm I brought was, again, a pistol on my hip. I I saw no reason to bring any other firearms to do any shooting, target shooting. Not in this area, I wouldn't. But this will come into play towards the end here. So we were quiet. We're just enjoying our camp spot, getting set up, walking around, exploring, goofing off. Kids go do their thing. Wife, she's doing her thing. I'm whatever. So starting to get dark. And the normal thing, you know, most people do around the campfire, they get their chairs set up and they cook s'mores, marshmallows, hot dogs, or, you know, whatever. The normal activities. And as it gets dark, and you can sit around the campfire and enjoy it. And it was a good couple hours after sunset. The only light that was illuminating was from the campfire. And if you got back a few feet away from the campfire, you're in pitch black darkness. And on where we were camped, directly south of us, maybe 20 yards, the trailhead started, and it drops down at a steep angle, 25 to 30 degrees at the beginning. So we're on a flat ledge camp, and then on one side it just drops down. To our right, there's another canyon that drops down, and to our left there's another canyon that drops down. So we are on a flat ledge, and on three sides it just drops down into the darkness. As I previously mentioned in the first podcast, my dog had walked right past this youth, and he didn't pick up on the smell, the scent. He didn't notice it. One thing I did not mention in the first one was how close my daughter and I were, and my wife and son passed. We didn't smell any smell. None of that reported funkiness, the body odor, any of those reported smells. At less than 30 feet, and then we stepped closer, I would assume that if he was funky or gave off some horrible odor, we would have smelled it. Zero smell.
Yeah, I don't think they do that until they're.
I just wanted to mention
I don't think they do that unless they're mad.
But my dog was one of the sweetest dogs in the world. Of course, everybody says their dog's sweet. But this dog had never growled at anybody. It never, ever once did anything aggressive. It was just the most gentle, loving animal I could ever imagine. Again, he was half German Shepherd purebred and half lab. Again, right around 100 pounds. So he's a decent sized dog. And he likes to climb up into the camp chair, one of those fold up camp chairs. And he will work his little butt in and kind of work his way around and get into this little snuggled pattern. And he'll just sit there and sit in that camp chair. I don't know how he gets up in there, and stares at the fire like we like to do, you know, as you start getting into that mode, that calm serenity around a campfire at night, where your mind just goes wherever it goes, as you're staring into the coals. And my son, my daughter, their friend, my wife, myself, and our dog were all in a circle around this campfire. I'm a stander. I don't like to sit. I always want to be standing and ready to move. It's just a habit. It's quiet. Beautiful night. The moon is out. The stars are out. There's not a cloud in the sky. And my dog, I can't explain how fast he got out of this camp chair and ran as fast as he could towards the trailhead where it just drops. It's just, we're on a plateau and it just drops down. And he stopped right at the edge and he was jacked up. He was, the hair on the back of his neck stood up and he was standing there. He was looking at something that he knew was down there and was bad mojo. I have never seen my dog do that ever or since. I went up to him and I grabbed him by his collar and I'm trying to pull him back and he's fighting me. He's like, dude, let me do my job. You know, as a dog would protect its loved ones. But he was so just adamant about staring down into this darkness. I'm thinking cougar. That's the only thing on my mind was a cougar. But he's seen cougar before. We've had cougar run right across in front of us when we have been hiking in the woods. He's chased after bears, just goofing around. He's been around all the forest animals, but I've never seen him obsessively fighting me to try to pull him back from this spot. And
so he was acting way different.
Oh, he was ready for war. And
you're saying he was completely out of character.
100%.
Totally. Yeah.
100% out of character.
Yeah.
Again, I've raised this dog from the smallest little thing to this jack dude.
So this dog, if it would have been a person walking up that ridge, he wouldn't have done that.
He would have probably waited until the person came up and then ran up and licked him to death.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And he looked like a grizzly bear cub. A lot of people have mistaken him for a grizzly bear cub at times. It's just how he looked. He looked really mean from his German Shepherd heritage in his lab. But one thing I want to state is from the years of him and I pounding the mountains, he just got jacked, buffed in the front, his front shoulders. Wow. He's just a big, jacked, buffed dog. But he was fighting me when I'm trying to pull him back. And finally he gave in. I wasn't hurting him, but he finally relinquished his stance enough to get him back. But he would not stop looking in that direction.
But what were you thinking at this point? What was going through your head, Jason?
Cougar. Cougar's too close.
So you were just thinking it's just a wild animal, it's cougar or bear.
I was up there. There's wolves all over this area. There's grizzly bears.
Okay.
And the black bears and cougar and other lynx and bobcats. But no, I thought cougar, just because how he was being protective of us. He had our back. He says, let me handle this, guys. But again, in this manner that out of character, actually kind of scary, because I'm thinking, I know this dog and he's never done this before. Well, I'll get to why. So I get him back to the fire and we're talking about this behavior. We're all talking about what's wrong, what happened, what's going on. And I said, don't worry about it. If it's a cat, it's not going to come up here and attack us. And even if it did, I mean, that would be a cat that would be out of the norm. Not saying I'd shoot him, but I would do whatever it took to, take care of business. But things calmed down. He kept I got him calm. He did not climb back up in his camp chair. He stayed on the ground, but he was focused in that same direction, continually looking back up and perking up his ears and listening. And this continued for quite a while. Excuse my language, but then all hell broke loose. What happens next, I can't explain. So, in the previous podcast, I had mentioned that I felt that juvenile Sasquatch was either in a nursery or there were other members of its clan or family around. What was I right? What I think happened, and I'll get to the ruckus here, was that we'd stumbled into their food area, we were in their spot. And they allowed us, and I believe they allowed us one time to come up, get into their area. Again, the huckleberries were just prime. And I believe that by us coming back 24 hours later, we upset them. We upset them to the point that they harassed us all night long. They wouldn't stop. There was 3 of them. There was one directly where my dog ran. There was one to our right, and there was one to our left, out of our sight and off the flat, but down into the dark timber. And what they were doing was a constant now, a tree knock's a tree knock. A thunder knock's a thunder knock. But there was no vocals, 0 vocals. That I need to make crystal clear. No vocals. But they were smashing, slamming, crashing. Then one would start on the opposite side. Then this one over here would pick up. The one in front of us would move because you could hear them down there. They were I stand by this. They were warning us to get out of here, leave. But they didn't stop. This continued for hours and hours. Then there would be moments of quietness, and it would pick up again. Well, I pulled out. I had a Generation 2 night vision monocular. And I'm running up to the edge right after I'd hear something, and I'd turn it on. Nothing. Couldn't see anything. And with this piece of equipment, I could see 200 yards easily. Then there's an infrared illuminator that would shine another couple hundred yards, give you a little bit better picture at night. Nothing. Then I would hear something over to the right, and I would try to get over there and look. Nothing. Gave it to my son. I says, you stand here for a while. You start looking. None of us saw anything with that piece of equipment. I can't explain that. My theory, as far as not seeing them, is possibly I always tell people when they're out in the woods, when you're squatching, look on the ground, look to your left, to your right, and always look up, because I believe they up in the trees a lot, looking down upon us. But this harassment continued and continued. Finally, my daughter and their friend Luke, they had enough. They're like, because we can't pack up and leave. I mean, yes, we could have went home, but so they went inside the camper, and we're were doing their thing. I believe at the time it was Pokemon cards or something like that. Whatever.
Oh, by the way, Mark, we've got a 5-minute warning here, just so you know. So we have to wrap in 5 minutes.
Oh, this whole podcast?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Then I'll make this quick. I'm sorry. Okay. So,
no problem.
For 5 minutes. Okay. My wife, then she goes into the back bedroom and she's reading a book. And this continues and continues. I'm going to leave out a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. So it's my son and myself and our dog, and we're sitting at the campfire, and I'm staying up all night. There's no way I'm going to go to bed and let something happen. I'm not going to, there's no way.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, I see. I see you're up a lot. So my son, he is sitting in a camp chair, and I'm standing to his left, and he's just staring into the coals, trying to get drowsy in dreamland, wherever we go as we look at fire again. I'm going to do my best to describe this without standing up, because that's the best way I would be able to do it. But he, for some reason, stands up, turns to his right, and he walks off to the right. We would be north of our campground, and it's about 150 yards to the nearest tree line where one of these was making this noise. I thought he was getting up, going to walk a few feet into the darkness and take a leak or stretch his legs and then be right back. But he got up like he was in a trance, like a robotic motion. Just stood up, turned around, and walked off into the dark. And I was kind of counting the time. I'm thinking he should be back any second. And then he screams, "Dad," as loud as he could. I run my little butt off as fast as I can in his direction. And it's pitch black dark. And he's standing right at the edge of this flat spot where it drops deep down in this canyon. And as I reach and I grab his shoulder to spin him around, Alex, that's the photo I would like you to pull up, the Sybil's. That sucker right there, excluding the angry teeth, the face we couldn't make out, but that perfect outline.
Silhouette, right?
Yeah, the silhouette with those soft, amber, red, glowing eyes.
So they were glowing. You saw eye shine.
We both did. Not eye shine, but that
glow. Yeah.
That
it was
glow.
actually glowing.
That soft, not bright illuminating, but just enough, just very soft. But that right there, that's the best picture I've ever found, excluding the facial features. So if you erase all that and just leave the silhouette and the two eyes. And when I grabbed him, I'm sorry.
Did she draw this? I'm assuming of another witness.
I don't know the backstory.
Oh, okay. It'd be interesting if you could hear the story behind this.
I'll be talking to her tomorrow.
Encounter. Yeah, you should ask her.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So I grabbed him, spun him around, and as I'm turning him around, he's still looking because he's fixated on, and I see what he sees. This, and it turns around and it just boom, 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 gone into the darkness. So if what I saw was a juvenile and this was a parent or something, there was three of them 3 of them around us that had to have been like this, or I'm assuming, but this figure right here somehow communicated to my son. Again, telepathy, I don't know, but something made him in this trance to stand up like a zombie, turn around, and walk off and come just feet away. Now, if I believe, I believe this, and I believe if I hadn't got there in time, my son would have been gone. A 411 tape.
So what was going through your mind? Were you thinking he was just wandering off to go relieve himself?
Yeah, just momentarily. 2 guys, you know,
take
a couple of feet over there, whip it out, and you're done.
Yeah.
But I'm counting the time. I'm thinking he's been gone for it's about a minute.
Yeah, see, that whole thing is creepy as hell. Did you ask him why he just got up and wandered off?
He has no explanation for it.
Ugh.
In the previous episode, when he saw this one looking over this ledge, he won't talk about that. And he won't talk about this also. This really messed him up because he can't explain to me. He has no explanation what made him stand up and walk that distance away. There's no explanation for it. I can only assume that somehow they communicated to him, come here, come over here. But again, if I hadn't have been there, if I had been maybe 30 seconds later or ignored him, my son, I believe, would have been gone. I believe he was lured.
That's a possibility because something weird going on there. It's for damn sure.
Well, that's part 2. That's what I wanted to state. So I'll wrap this up. So having a close encounter at 30 feet, then less, of the sweetest, kindest juvenile Sasquatch that you just, in my opinion, you just want to go up and hug him if he would have allowed me to. Just that loving character, the vibe. Then I knew there was multiple around. Coming back the next night and being harassed on all 3 sides. And then this happening at the climax.
Wow.
That's what spun me around another 180 degrees. I couldn't wrap my head around
it. And Sibylla is going to, is this tomorrow night?
Yeah. Yes.
So where can they find that? Sibylla, can you post a link or get it to Alex so we can post it on this show so people can cross-reference it? That's going to be amazing drawing of your juvenile.
Right. We talked yesterday.
Are you going to do it live on the air?
I'm not certain how we're going to do it. We've talked about doing it until I believe it's as perfect as it can get. And I'm excited because I believe this is going to shed light on something somehow. It's going to add value.
Well, that whole story adds a lot of interesting theories on what in the world was going on with your son, and the fact that creature was there, and the fact you both saw it, and the fact it just walked away. But
it stomped away.
Yeah, and it stomped away. But it's the wondering you'll never know.
No,
what would have happened.
God. I just know that there was three there. They did not want us there for some reason. They were making it clear. Then my son, it was like he was possessed, and we'll never know. But
how old Lori Croson wants to know
how old
your son was at the time.
15.
Okay,
15, and very skilled outdoorsman. He can handle it. But if he hadn't have yelled for me, I would have still have been waiting for him to come back. And who knows how long it would have taken me to walk over. And I would have never found him. I truly believe there was something malevolent.
Yeah.
And this might not even have been have been anything to do with the young one the day prior. This might have been another group moved in. I don't know. But I'm thankful that I got to him. We both saw it, and that's what flipped my gourd to holy, you know what?
Yeah,
cutie little guy up there and a scary dude right here. So what's in between? Maybe this is just how they are when they get older, and maybe this is the dad who's mad. There's endless theories again, but Sybil, this is perfect of what climaxed that night. So at the end, I have my son go to bed. I stayed up all night. Once he went inside, it was quiet most of the night. They were still around until just before twilight. But we moved that next day. We moved about 7 miles up to get away from these guys.
Wow.
And nothing. And we were up there for like 3 or 4 more days. But there was absolutely nothing else occurred. Period. But only in that spot, I believe we stumbled into their nursery, their whatever. I don't know, but they were PO'd that we were there, and they made it clear.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So,
well, on that wrap up of that story, that's a hell of a way to end the podcast, Jason.
Yep.
I know you'll be willing to come back for part 3.
I have got some goodies that will just great.
Well, you are one amazing storyteller too.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, but thank you everybody in chat. We had a huge crowd in chat.
Right on.
Alex, thank you so much. Thanks everybody, and thank you again, Jason. It's just a great pleasure to have you on, and an honor. So, and thank you for your service again.
Thank you very much.
For that.
That means a lot.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to leave it at this note.
Yes, please.
If we do another one, again, you come up with a subject, and I've got a lot of material on it. So there's a lot of stuff. But one thing I really want to talk about, if we do this again, is footprints that people claim or they cast. And I want to describe and explain the trickery and the way that these should be looking, or etc., through a medical anatomy point of view.
Okay.
Dr. Jeff Meldrum, he's an anthropologist. Yes, but sometimes when you see a print that's so, anyways, that's something I want to really home in on, to educate people out there from a point of view that I can almost guarantee none of you have thought, and it will make you think twice the next time somebody shows you a cast, or you see a cast or a print. It's education, and I would really love to do that, because it will help this field tremendously.
Cool.
Now, on that note,
and if a Sasquatch tries to communicate silently with your kids, go after them like Jason did.
Get them. Don't wait.
Go after them. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
good night.
I call you up in the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no